Welcome to Legal Leaders Insights, the podcast where we dive into the legal challenges of innovation with top legal minds. I'm your host, Giulio Coraggio, technology data lawyer at the global law firm DLA Piper. And today I'm delighted to have with us as our guest, Anna Cosi. Anna is General Counsel Italy at Siemens. Welcome, Anna, and thanks for accepting my invite.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Anna, you had a very interesting career. I've seen that you've been through different roles. Maybe the linking point is always around technology, and so law applied to technology. So you are the perfect guest for our podcast. The first question that we always address to our guests is if you can kind of nail down the most crucial steps of your career that led you to your current position where you lead the Italian legal team at Siemens.
Sure, absolutely. So I actually started practicing mainly in the IP and IT law area in top tier law firms here in Milan. And I must say that after many years in-house, I realized that experience as an outside counsel was very useful because it gives you a different perspective, a little bit more the one of the consultant. Then I moved in-house in the semiconductor industry for an American company in which the approach was very much similar, like the general counsel and the legal team were like an internal law firm. So we learned how to apply our technical skills and expertise in supporting the business, which is fundamental when you want your business to thrive. So I spent 14 years overall in the hardware and semiconductor industry with two companies, SanDisk and then Western Digital, after the acquisition of SanDisk by Western Digital. And while I started with a very specific area, which is the intellectual property one, then I moved to a more general role, focusing on antitrust, commercial, and contractual issues. And then I was approached 2 years ago by Siemens, where I am now the general counsel for Siemens SPA. And so the role is broader and more general again, so I have to focus on a lot of different issues, but technology and technology law remains my great passion, I would say.
Yeah. Can you mention what is in your view the main difference in the approach to legal issues between in-house and a consultant? So you've seen both sides of the picture.
Yeah, I think that in latest years, the two roles are becoming more and more close. When I used to practice as an outside counsel, I had the impression that I could only grasp some of the commercial and business issues that were related to the legal questions. Obviously, when you are in-house, you need to have the ability to see the full picture and really apply the law in supporting the business. So that I think is the main difference. And I think a successful outside counsel is the one that is able to reason a little bit like a general counsel or an in-house counsel and really learn about the business and the industry that is assisting the clients in.
Yeah. And so you mentioned a really interesting point because there is a kind of also in terms of terminology a difference between being a general counsel and just a legal counsel, because a general counsel conveys the idea that you're part of the business rather than being kind of an outside entity that needs to say what is possible and what is not possible to be done. How do you see your role changing? If it's changing, probably more involved in the business operations?
I think that everyone who is working in-house needs to understand the business or the part of the business that is assisting. So the main difference is that the general counsel has to have a global overview of everything that is happening within the company, sometimes even in areas that are not his area of special or his or her area of specialty. So that, of course, is an additional challenge. So I think that the main let's say, skill set is really being able to learn and adapt and make sure that the team that is supporting you gives you all the information that you need in order to take the strategic decisions that you are required to take.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably this is the most complicated timing for a technology-driven company like Siemens, because Siemens has been in the technology world forever, but now the pace of innovation is so fast. So are how is Siemens and how is your team keeping up with this increased pace of digitalization of well, if I think that until 2, 3 years ago, most of us never heard of generative AI, and now
Yes.
probably we use it every day.
Yes, of course. So as you correctly mentioned, Siemens has been in the, I would say, really artificial intelligence space since the 70s. So artificial intelligence is perceived as something that is very recent, but is actually not. So we had some basic applications already in the industry in the 70s. And the other thing that I'd like to mention is that everyone is thinking about artificial intelligence mostly on the side of the user, the consumer, while Siemens is really active in implementing and introducing artificial intelligence in industrial automation applications. So again, we as a company see this as a tremendous opportunity to improve even more our offering and the technology that we already have in place for, especially in connection with the industrial automation. We have the industrial metaverse, digital twins, and a number of other applications that are really helping manufacturers and other industries in creating a more modern and more efficient environment. So it is an opportunity more than a risk, but then of course, we still have to make sure that our products and services comply with the legislation, and now especially with the introduction of the AI Act that has become mandatory. And so the way we try to combine or balance out innovation and compliance is really having a very transparent approach, a very clear and secure risk assessment process from the very beginning. So since we start looking at products and services and technologies to be applied in the industrial world.
Yeah, and on that point, since your counterparts are companies, are businesses, do you think there is a kind of a lack of understanding by the legal practice of this kind of new wave of innovation? So in a way, you need to also create trust in solutions that are so innovative. So you are kind of advocate of your products because the legal teams sometimes are a bit behind the business in terms of understanding of the technology.
So what we are doing obviously Siemens is a global company. So at global level, we have a team of lawyers that I'm also part of that is running alongside the business in order to make sure that, again, we have the right policies and processes in place. Another thing that I believe is important is really advocate with everyone within the company and the industry first before we start somehow evangelizing our customers. So what we are doing, for example, in Siemens Italia right now is having a number of workshops for every employee, just explaining what is AI, what are the different types of AIs, what is the legal compliance and cybersecurity framework, so that everyone understands how to use it, starting from the tools that can help you with your daily job, up to the point of the applications that engineers are developing and using in their daily work. So again, consumer and I would say manufacturer side of things, but the more everyone within a business and an industry understands where we are going, what is going on, and what is needed to get there, and to get there in a compliant way, the better that is, I would say.
Yeah. You mentioned the word compliance many times because it's a kind of a keyword whenever Siemens operates. Because uh, because of the type of business that Siemens runs, you have the general technology related legislation like the AI Act that you mentioned, but then you have the sector specific legislation. And obviously, everyone wants to innovate because innovation drives increased revenues. So, how do you try to balance, you and your team balance this need of innovation, need of the business to sell more and more innovative products with the need to ensure regulatory compliance with a legislation that is sometimes sector specific, is coming from a different background when probably was introduced when these technologies were not in place, like.
So again, we are lucky enough to have a big global team, and so we have people who are dedicating their main activities in researching, investigating, updating, and making sure that everyone else is in the loop. I would say that to me the key word is risk assessment, and not just because this is contained in the AI Act, but because I believe it is really a crucial part of the process. So as long as the risk assessment is done properly at the right time, in the right phase, for example, of the development of a product, then the risk is reducing, and the balancing that we mentioned before can happen more easily. And another thing that we are doing globally as a company is to keep the dialogue open also with the legislator and the other players to make sure that we know in real time what's going on, and we are able to adapt our processes to the changing legal landscape. Evolving, I would more than changing.
Sure. Would you agree that risk assessment goes in a way together with building trust? Because sometimes some technology providers are kind of a gray on what is behind their products and what they actually have done in building it. But then if you disclose the information that is needed to your customers to make a full risk assessment and you provide your details, then the customers is more likely to buy your products because it's not concerned that something is hidden behind, right?
Yes, no, of course. But one of the main, I would say, pillars of the way we manage our technology, especially in the AI space, is transparency, and again, responsible AI somehow.
Yeah.
Again, these are the principles that are guiding our action, and then also showing what the technology can do in the industrial space is I would say an automatic showcase of the potential and the possibilities.
Yeah, which allows also the legal team to become more even a driver of sales, because if the client better understands also from a legal perspective the product and the lack of potential risks for them, it's more they are more likely to buy that.
So in a way, if I may add, I'm a strong believer that everyone in the legal team needs to be aware of these changes and these possibilities, even people who are not necessarily supporting customers that are buying a certain technology. I think we can really not move forward in the process of transformation of the company and the industry if every single one of us doesn't know what is going on and which are the possibilities and challenges.
Yeah.
Anna, so it's no longer, if I may, just to close, it's no longer a sector, right? It's no longer for just IP lawyers or tech lawyers. It's for the entire legal team just to understand where we're going.
Yeah, and also that makes me think you have like me, an IP IT background, but then you became a generalist lawyer, and probably the approach to changes of technology lawyers allows to better understand how the society is changing, how the products are changing, because other streams of law are a bit more static, let's say.
True. That's absolutely true. Yes. Yes. I feel lucky for that.
Thank you. Anna, last question that we frequently address to our guest. If you had to give a piece of advice to someone that wants to make a career like yours, uh, what is the most crucial skill they should focus on developing?
I think there's more than one, but if I
Okay.
have to pick one, it's probably courage. Because you need a little bit of courage to just embrace different things. Then, of course, you need to be flexible and you need to be curious. So these are I know it's not one, but three, but they all go together.
Yeah,
You
no,
need to have
I can see the link,
the
and
link. Okay.
it's more a mindset, right?
Absolutely. 90%. Yeah. 90% mindset, 10% skills and expertise.
Absolutely.
At some point.
Anna, it was very interesting. It was very nice, and thank you for your time. And I'm sure it's gonna be useful for everyone. I thank you, the audience, and I hope this podcast is useful. And arrivederci.
Thank you. Bye bye.